Now, from the outside, Jason and Shani had the perfect picture marriage. I mean, a big, beautiful house, 3 adorable boys. But it all changed a few weeks ago when Jason found out that his wife, Shani, had been cheating with Greg, a mutual friend. Now, Shani says that she had received death threats from Greg's wife, but yet continues to see Greg. Shani says she's ready to leave her husband. Jason wants to save this marriage.
I found out 3 weeks ago my wife was having an affair.
I had an affair, and now my husband's doing everything to get me back.
I've clearly communicated to her that I can be everything she needs and we can keep our family intact.
I am angry. I am mad that my sister is doing this to Jason.
I was not looking to have an affair.
Shani's had a very wonderful life, a beautiful house, a beautiful home on this lake, and these 3 beautiful boys.
I thought I could do it all. The mom of 3 boys, running my business, running the house. I thought I had it all together, and then in the last couple years, it started really going downhill.
I didn't realize to what extent she was starting to check out.
I used to say to him, "You're gonna lose me, you're gonna lose me." I think he thinks I was the joker, the funny girl, and really I was telling the truth. I first met my boyfriend in the beginning of October. I was friends with a girl at the gym, and I met her husband. At first, we were just friends. By the end of November, we took our relationship to a different level.
She started spending more time with them, spent the night over at their house, brought the kids over there on a regular basis. We went skiing together. I never saw a connection between the 2 of them.
When the affair first began, it was a double life.
On my son's birthday, Shani left to be with that guy's family at a kids' rehearsal.
I had to hide and lie and deceit and do all the things that I thought I would never, ever do as a mother or a wife.
It really came to the head for me New Year's Eve. I came in the house and heard Shani talking on the phone. And I heard her say, "I want you to text me in the middle of the night because it makes me feel good." I grabbed the phone and I smashed it on the ground.
I was a wife and a mom on this side, and then I had my boyfriend who made me feel so good on this side.
Since the affair began, Shani is self-absorbed. She's being deceitful. She's hiding things from me, hiding things from her friends.
I moved out about a week and a half ago. My boyfriend's not with his wife anymore. They have the divorce papers almost all filled out. I know that it's not right to be with a man that I had an affair with, but I truly love him.
It's not Shani. She is a person of honesty, integrity, high morals.
I feel like Shani needs a serious awakening. I think someone needs to grab her both sides of her shoulders and just shake her, rattle her brain, wake her up.
I thought that our relationship was going to be forever.
I just want to be happy, and I haven't been happy for so long. My husband's doing everything he can to make it work between the 2 of us.
I'm fighting, I'm kicking, I'm biting, I'm screaming, elbowing.
I know Jason's hopeful and he wants it to work, but it's just gone. It's just gone.
So you basically feel justified in doing this because you said, "I told you so." I mean, you actually sang it on there that you're going to lose me, you're going to lose me. So you feel justified in this.
Partially, yeah, I do.
Really?
I feel like I tried for a couple of years really hard to make our relationship work, and he didn't see any of the reaching out to him.
Okay, so you just took up with your friend's husband, and he took up with you.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Does that seem okay to you?
No, it doesn't seem okay to me.
What right do you have to be sleeping with somebody else's husband?
I agree.
What do you mean you agree?
Apparently
you don't agree because you're doing it.
Well, I know. He just made me feel so good. I mean, he listened to me, he talked to me, he had fun with me, and I was lacking that from Jason, so I looked elsewhere.
What, does this, am I missing something here?
I think I'm missing something here because it really didn't hit me until November. When someone tells you, "I'm going to lose you," or "you're not doing the things," but doesn't sit down with you and really says, "I need to leave this relationship," or "this relationship's over unless we make some significant changes today," I get that.
You wish now you'd listen, don't you?
Absolutely. I regret that every day. I live with that every day when I wake up at 2 in the morning crying that I wasn't there for her.
Yeah. So why you want to be there for her now? Because somebody else wants her? It's like a dog with a bone. You don't want the bone till another dog wants it, and so now you're all over it.
No. I want her now because we've spent 13 years together. We had a special life together. There's a life bond. I made a commitment on our wedding day for now, forever, in sickness and in health. And we've got 3 beautiful kids, and I don't want to have them suffer the consequences of being with a divorced family, mom and dad who aren't together, and the pain that's associated with that.
So how do you reconcile that in your mind? I mean, you have 3 children here, beautiful, loving children. How do you think it's going to go down with them? They get to a point when they say, well, Mom, why is our family fractured, split, in a shambles? Are you going to say, well, he just makes me feel so good, and we laugh and we giggle and we play and we just have a great time, and so you lose?
No,
I mean, is that the deal?
No, that's
well,
not.
So you're going to lie to them? Because that's the truth, right?
Right.
The truth is you've got a choice between your family, these children and your husband, and this guy that's like you're dating in high school. It's like we get to run around and he doesn't have to pay any of your bills. He doesn't have to deal with your kids. He doesn't have to do any of the hard stuff. He just gets to roll in the hay and play and laugh and yuck it up. But that is the truth. You've got a choice between them and him, and you're deciding, you make me feel good, so bye, and you're going. Does that seem rational to you?
No.
So why are you doing it? Reconcile that for me. I'm all ears.
Well, I fell out of love with Jason, and I feel like I'll do anything to keep the family together for the boys, but I don't love him, so I feel like I would be staying with him for all the wrong reasons because I'd be a robot like I have been the last 2 years.
Well, there might be some validity to that if you finished one relationship before you started the other, but do you think it's fair to your husband and your family to compare the dailies and the longevity and the stability with all the problems with something new and fresh and fun that you go run and frolic with? That's not really a fair comparison, is it?
No.
I mean, you've thrown away all the responsibilities and gone running like you're dating in high school, and you're comparing those two. Is that a fair comparison? Has this guy seen you when you've had the flu? Has he cleaned up after you when you puke all over the bathroom floor? Has he been there when your kids are sick? Has he done any of those things? No, he meets you at the lake. Right?
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
No.
I don't think she understands. She's not in the frame of mind where she can understand what the consequences are for her or the consequences are for her
Well, I'm
kids.
just trying to challenge your thinking. And I've got some other questions for you, and I want to let you ask some as well. When we come back, we're going to talk to the man that Shani is having an affair with. She calls him her boyfriend. So we're going to see what he has to say about all this when we come back.
My boyfriend's wife really has a hot temper. She's left text messages, "You lying whore, far away, that's where you should stay, I'll destroy you. If I ever catch you, God help you, stay away from me." And I had to go get a restraining order.
Well, Shani has just moved out of her home that she shared with her husband and her 3 children to be with her friend's husband. There are 3 young boys caught in the middle of this crumbling marriage, and that's why I'm talking about this, because the children don't have a voice. It's hard for them to articulate what they feel when they see their world falling down around their ear. Shani says she's 80% gone, and the only regret now is what this may all do to their 3 sons.
I moved out about a week and a half ago.
Hey, little dude, what's up? Thank you.
It was a really hard decision to leave my home with my kids in it.
My sister thinks that these kids are resilient and they'll get through this. The kids will be very affected by this.
The boys are confused. Hudson's 4. He's asking me, how come Mom lives somewhere else?
I think he's feeding off the parents' energy, so it makes him kind of wound up and angry.
My 6-year-old is hurt. He's our shy, just precious little boy. He's trying to put us back together. When she calls on the phone, he says, "Hey, Dad, Mom really wants to talk to you." My 9-year-old is acting like it's not a big deal, but I know he loves his mom, and he needs that special time with his mom.
Our boys are handling it okay. They don't get it quite yet.
Those 3 precious boys are crying for their mom right now, asking their dad why mommy does not love daddy anymore.
I don't want them to have to deal with the pain that they're gonna go through, living out of suitcases, being shuffled from mom's house to dad's house, having to be introduced to mom's new boyfriend or dad's new girlfriend. I have clearly communicated with her that I do not want my children around him.
My husband, rightfully so, is concerned that my boyfriend smokes pot. I did smoke pot with him. Actually, I've done it 3 times. I would do anything to have that love back in my heart for my husband so that my boys could wake up every morning and have us both there.
I mixed you.
They're hurting, and it kills me every day.
If anybody says these kids are not gonna be infected, I say
Well, Shanny's boyfriend, Greg, is on the phone. And now, Greg, you've been listening, and you wanted to make sure that Shanny's husband here didn't say anything to win his own wife back. But this affair has split your marriage up as well, correct?
That's correct.
So tell me how you reconcile this in your mind to be sleeping with another man's wife.
Well, I can't. I guess eventually you come to that point, you know, am I making the wrong decision or the right decision? And from a moral standpoint, it's not the right decision. But that doesn't mean that what we're doing isn't going to work out for us and for our kids.
Do you think this will have a negative impact on Shanny's 3 children, Shanny and Jason's 3 children?
No.
So you don't think this marriage splitting down the middle, this home coming apart, is going to have an effect on those 3 children? How many children do you have?
I have 2.
Do you think it'll have an impact on them?
I think right now it has had an impact on them. But as far as future, no, I don't.
Yeah. Jason, what do you want to say? You look like you're about to bust here.
It makes me sick. Neither of them realize what the consequences are for these kids. They haven't thought about anybody but themselves, and they haven't thought about the people who are involved. They haven't thought what's going to happen in 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, because the likelihood of them working out is probably 0. And then she's going to introduce... Then she's going to introduce those kids to another guy. Who knows if that's going to work out? Well, so the pain that those kids are going to deal with is killing me.
Greg, do you think it's healthy that you guys are, that this is a relationship born in deception and sneaking around?
I don't think that part of it's healthy, no, but I think it is a healthy relationship, though.
Okay, you think it's a healthy relationship. Now, you guys were together, there were 3 couples went to a hotel on December 8th. Is that right, Jason? And Greg was there. And you said that you went to sleep with the kids at 10. Shanny came home at 2 and had been in the pool drinking with Greg, and her bathing suit was shredded from grinding on the rocks with Greg. What did you mean by that?
I didn't find that out till later. I found that out actually from Greg's wife, because it was her bathing suit. Mm-hmm. And it made me sick. It made me sick, because I was asleep while she was doing that crazy stuff with somebody else.
Greg, have you discussed this with anybody, a pastor in your church, a counselor, your parents, anybody? Have you discussed this with anybody to kind of get another point of view?
Yes, I have. But, you know, I discuss my marriage and what I've gone through, and not, you know, what Shanny is dealing with her family is, you know, she needs to deal with that part.
Yeah,
you know, I have to deal with my relationship that I'm getting out of, and she has to deal with hers. You know, I can't really interfere with hers. She needs to make her decisions.
Well, it seems like you crossed that line when you got in bed with her. I mean, you did interfere. Didn't you interfere when you got in bed with her?
Well, sure. But that's going to bed with somebody and having a relationship are two different things.
Okay. Well, I've got a question for you, Greg, and I've got to take a quick break, and then I'll ask you this question. Shanny's sister, Amber, thinks Shanny's just lost her mind, so we're going to talk to her next as well, but I got a question for Greg when we come back.
My sex life with my husband was almost non-existent. The way I try to spice things up is I'd buy little cute outfits, or I'd want to watch adult films. I've been working out and I've been trying to look really good. I just wanted him to just say, oh, you look good. I'm like, hey, look at me, look at me. But he was like, he would shoo me away, and that, wears on you, and that hurt me.
Well, Jason and Shanny have been married over 10 years. Now, last week, Shanny sent her husband a text saying, get the divorce papers ready. She's been having an affair with Greg for 3 months. Greg is now living with his parents, plans to divorce his wife. Greg's on the phone and wants to make sure Jason doesn't win his wife back.
That's not true.
What is true?
I don't need to stop anything from winning anything. Shanny's going to make her decisions for herself. I'm not trying to stop that. What I wanted to say was that I didn't want Shanny. Everybody is telling Shanny what to do, and Shanny needs to do what she needs to do, and not have all this outside pressure from everybody telling her what to do, just because of this kind of situation has a low success rate.
Are you putting pressure on her?
No.
So do you think you're having an influence on her by you guys running and playing and smoking pot and having a good time?
Let's not blow that out of proportion. That sounds ridiculous, and I'm not even going to respond to that.
Well, you don't have to respond to it, but have you guys been smoking dope together on 3 different occasions? Did I not just see you say that on a piece of videotape?
A while back, but no, it's not like we're smoking pot together.
Have you done that 3 times?
Yes.
Okay, and you're a mother with 3 kids?
Yes.
I don't think you can blow that out of proportion. I don't think that's a good thing for you to be doing. And if y'all aren't doing that now, then I'm glad. So, Greg, you're saying that's no longer happening?
I'm not saying that's no longer happening, but the way you're telling it acts like it's a habitual thing that happens every time that we see each other, and we're just totally irresponsible. And the way that you're making it sound with Jason, it sounds really bad, and it's not like that.
Well, okay, let me just be factual then. Let me just be factual.
Okay.
Are you sleeping with another man's wife?
Yes.
Okay. Are you getting out of your marriage and she's getting out of hers with an eye towards the 2 of y'all getting together?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not blowing that out of proportion.
No.
That is accurate and true.
Mm-hmm. You
got no business being with this man's wife. You have no business being with this man's wife. If you respect Shanny, if you have any respect for her whatsoever, then you will respect her obligations to her husband and her children. And if, as you said, she has to deal with that, then you will take a giant step back and you will let her deal with that. You will, if she wants to get a divorce and she wants out of this marriage, maybe it's an ill-fated marriage. That may be, I don't know. But if that is the case and that is her decision, and you have any respect for her individually, any respect for her children, any respect for the institution of this marriage, then you will step back and let her finish this business before you start getting in her business. And once that's done, if at that point Shanny, if at that point you have finished this relationship, you are completely done and you are divorced and a single woman, and you're standing there and you say, I want to pursue a relationship with Greg or somebody else, then you can do that. But you finish one before you start another. Now, you know that. Come on. You didn't just come in on a load of turnips. You know that. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
And you know it is unfair to your husband, it is unfair to your children, it is unfair to this marriage for you to be out playing house, playing footsie, dating a boyfriend before you finish this. You owe it to him after 10 years. You have legitimate complaints about him. No doubt about it. You do. You have legitimate complaints. He was inattentive. He was unresponsive whenever you tried to breathe some new energy into the relationship. All of those things that you have complaints are legitimate and you're entitled to them. Your response to them is absolutely unjustified. You never fix a problem in a relationship by turning away from your partner. You deal with it. You turn over every stone. You investigate every avenue of rehabilitation. You go to counseling. You read books. You pray. You do everything you can. And when that's done and over and you have a divorce and a custody agreement and everything is worked out and you want to look elsewhere, then that is your right to do. But you don't have the right to do it now. In fact, you have a responsibility not to. And Greg can say he doesn't think it affects the children. That is a ridiculous statement in my opinion. It does affect the children, his and yours, and you know it. Do you think this doesn't affect your children?
Well, of course. I mean, it's affecting,
The effect is short term.
What was that, Greg?
Yeah, the kids are only going to be as affected as you can deal with it. You know, how you treat them and how you talk to them and how much you don't explain to them. Some kids don't need to know things in depth, like, you know, someone who's bitter feels that they need to explain it to them. I disagree. I think it affects them, yes, but does it affect their lives? And you know, in the coming years, no, I don't think it does.
Doesn't get it. He doesn't get it, and either does she, obviously.
We'll be right back. Well, I'm here talking to Jason, Shani, and they're married. They've been married about 10 years, have 3 children. I have her boyfriend, Greg, on the line. Greg has just opined that while there may be some temporary disruption to the children's lives, that basically in the long run, the dissolution of this family through the mother's infidelity will have no impact on the children long term. Amber, what do you think about Shani's behavior here? You're her sister, what do you see?
Shani and I have been through a couple things in our life, and we've talked about this. She's been through this with a couple of her friends, and it's something we've always said, we'd never do this, we'd never do this. And so that's why I think she's out of her mind. But I just don't think she realizes the impact that it's having on the kids and on the family and on Jason.
What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking, I feel like I'm being thrown under the bus.
Well, are you being thrown under the bus, or are you laying down in front of an oncoming bus?
Well,
I mean, seriously, you have the right to be upset with your husband. You absolutely have the right to be upset with your husband. You have the right to complain about his behavior. You have a right to complain about his conduct. But with rights come responsibilities. And when you have these 3 children who have hooked their wagon to your star, you owe them better than to just decide that you've met somebody that makes you feel young again, makes you feel vibrant again, makes you feel good in the moment. So what I'm telling you is you have responsibilities. You need to step out of this affair. If he loves you, truly, if he loves you, he'll be there when this is all over, if it comes to that. And if not, he'll move on to somebody else. If it's the right decision today to be with him, it'll be the right decision 6 months from now or a year from now. But what you owe now is a first obligation to your family. And it may not work. It may not. There are ways to resolve this, whether you stay married or whether you don't. I hope you do. I hope it can come around. I think it's astounding that you are so willing to go forward with this, because I know a whole lot of guys who would not. A whole lot of guys that would say, hey, you know, you're gonna go do that. But the question is, are you willing Are you willing to say, I'm going to finish one relationship before I start another?
She's already done that in counseling, 2 counseling sessions, and the counselor told her not to see Greg. If you want to give this family a chance, leave Greg alone. In 2 cases, she wasn't able to do it.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. You're not going to guilt induce her into this. You're not going to play the sympathetic victim into this. You're not going to dogmatically peck, pound, and smother her into this. That's not going to work. That's the pendulum that has swung the other way. She couldn't get your attention forever, and now she can't smoke you off of her.
It's true.
Because you're like clinging, you're hanging.
I got a lot riding on it.
You do have a lot riding
on it.
But you're not going to get it by guilt inducing. You're going to, look, I'm not saying you need to stay married to him. I don't know. I don't know. What I'm saying is you can't start another relationship till you finish the one you're in. Explain what you meant about 5 divorces.
Oh, God. My mom's been married a few times. It's not her fault, though.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Darn it.
It's relevant. You know it's relevant.
My mom has been married 4 different times. She's had 5 men in her life. They're not her fault. Not all of them, but I know it's affected us enormously.
It has affected you. Do you agree?
I agree, but I've been given it a hell of a ride with him for 10 and a half years, and I've tried my best for 2 years. I've gotten tapes, I've gotten CDs, I've gotten outfits. I've begged him for his attention and his love over and over and over again. And I go in his office and try to talk to him, and he's shooing me away. And that's the part that everybody's not seeing and hearing. That's the part that made me stray. I mean, I know it's a 2-way show, and I'm owning up to what I did, and I know it was so wrong, morally and ethically. But I really tried hard. I mean, I don't know how far. With counseling, it's like, how far do you just stay in a robot body? And I commend him too for trying to stick it out with me after I had an affair. But I was an awesome wife for a long time, and now he's seeing it.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think about that. There are 2 sides to it. Have you not heard me say that? Have you not heard me say, I think 3 times, you have legitimate complaints?
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it and resaid it. Don't say that you're just hearing one half of this story. I've said you have legitimate complaints. He wouldn't pay attention. He wouldn't respond to stimulus. He ignored your request. He did all. I've said that now 4 times. I'm going to tell you what I think it all boils down to when we come back. We're talking to Jason and Shani, a couple with a marriage on the brink. Her boyfriend, Greg, who she is now having an affair with, is on the phone. And I have one last comment, Greg, that I'd like to say to you. As a father speaking to another father, I would just ask you, please, 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 just go to your church, make an appointment with your pastor, go to a local counselor, and ask them about the kind of impact this has on the children and what you and your wife might do to lessen their pain. I can't make you do it. I'm just saying, just father to father, that's some information you might really want to get. Would you consider that? At least give it some thought, okay?
I get that information, and I am all filled in on that.
All filled in, all caught up on that.
I haven't turned a shoulder to my kids. I'm totally attentive to them. I take them as much as possible. I've talked to counselors, and I've done all the steps that I need to take.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good then if you feel like you've done it. And just understand, I think you are absolutely dead wrong when you say that it's not going to have an impact on these kids long term. And there are some things you can do to lessen that. But all I can do is tell you. I mean, that's all I can do. We'll be right back. Well, I'm here talking to Jason and Shani. They've been married 10 years, have 3 children. Shani has been very forthcoming eventually that she was having an affair with the husband of a friend. Now, you feel like you've pretty much done it all, right?
To save my marriage? I feel like I've done a lot, and I know how I feel about him. And so the hard part is to just turn my heart around and start loving him again when I love someone else.
Do you think your involvement with Greg
Yeah.
gets in the way, distracts, is an obstacle to you fixing this marriage, if it can be fixed?
Yeah, I think that.
Because you're distracted, right?
Yeah.
And you're like moving on. You're like looking towards something that looks fun, and behind just looks like a lot of emptiness and hurt and pain. And 3 children, and 10 years of history, and a home, and all of that. But there is pain involved in it, right?
Right.
All right. All I can tell you is this. 5 years from now, you might be divorced from this man. 5 years from now, you should be divorced from this man. 5 years from now, you might be married to Greg. I would bet all I can gather that ain't going to happen, but it could happen. You have to, that's a possibility. But what you do now, in this moment, is critical to where you go in the future and where your children go. You need to stop your relationship with Greg until this relationship is completed and worked through. You aren't giving this a fair chance when you're out with another person. I'd say the same thing to you if you were having an affair with Susie Q. I would say you cannot do that till you finish this. And maybe you set a time limit. Maybe you say 60 days. Maybe you say 90 days. Maybe you work that out with some counselor. But you can't start another relationship till you finish the one you're in. You have so much unfinished business here, so much unfinished emotional business with your husband, with your children, with your life. You can't go, you can't do that. That's building a house on sand. Even if you care about Greg, which I don't know whether you do or you don't, but if you do, you're dooming that relationship by starting it before you finish this one. You have to finish this relationship before you start another one. And you can't do that while you've got one foot over there. You need to stop that relationship. You need to stop seeing him. You need to stop all contact. You need to give complete and total focus to this for a period of time. And if at the end of that you're done, then get a divorce and move on. With a clear mind and a clear conscience. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about that. We've addressed that issue. We've talked about stopping, maybe just give it 7 days at a time, 30 days at a time. I'm curious, how does she stop? She feels she's in love with Greg. So how, and it's gonna be very hard for her to stop that. How is that gonna be possible when she's tried it before? What's it gonna make it different now?
Well, it's part of maturity. It's part of saying, we don't always just do what feels good in the moment. What you have to do is step up and say, I don't like going to the doctor. I don't like going to the dentist. I don't like doing a lot of things I have to do, but I do them because I know it's what I need to do. And that's what I'm telling you here. If you care at all about your family, and I know you do, then you'll give it your undivided focus until this comes to a conclusion. I'm not saying you become a robot for the rest of your life, but you need to have the maturity and responsibility to say, this is wrong, I will not do this till I finish this. And then give it a shot. And if it's over, it's over. But don't move on to another relationship till you've done the right thing here. Do you agree with that? But you're not going to do it, are you?
I talked to her about that last night. I said, you know what Dr. Phil's going to say? He's going to say, you need to stick with it for a certain amount of time. Would you be willing to do that? And she shook her head, no. I've already asked her for 90 days.
Well, you think about it and give me your answer when we come back. I have a question for you. Are you willing to suspend this relationship that you're in with Greg and give your undivided focus and attention to resolving this situation with no guarantees about where it's going to be?
Yeah.
Well, no, don't say you will if you won't. I mean, don't tell me you will if you intend to go talk to him and just continue right along with what you're doing. Because you don't want her saying what you want to hear or what I want to hear. You're either going to do it or you're not. And I'm not doing this to you. I'm trying to do this with you. I've acknowledged you have legitimate complaints here, and I've acknowledged that your only chance of ever going on with any sense of peace is to finish where you are before you go where you go. And if you're unconvinced, you're unconvinced.
I know that's what I should do. I definitely know that. I just have a hard time just saying it because I don't,
You don't want to do it, but that's
Right.
part of being mature enough to be a mother, to be a parent, to be a wife. I mean, you do what you need to do sometimes instead of what feels good in the moment.
And she may get everything she needs out of it as well. You don't know.
I feel like I do to resolve our problems before I make other decisions with.
If I make some resources available to you, will you apprise yourself of them? Will you go and talk to someone?
Of course, yes.
Honestly, this whole case feels less like a relationship problem and more like a slow-motion train wreck that everybody saw coming, but no one stopped. You've got Jason holding onto a 10-year marriage with everything he's got, full of regret and trying to fix things way too late. Then you've got Shani, who clearly felt ignored for years, but instead of ending things the right way, she crossed a line that shattered everything: her marriage, another family, and most importantly, her kids' stability. And let's be real, the most shocking part isn't even the affair. It's the mindset. The fact that both Shani and Greg keep downplaying the impact on the children? That's hard to watch, because those kids are already feeling it: confusion, anger, heartbreak. It's all there. Dr. Phil hit the core issue perfectly. You don't start a new relationship before finishing the old one. That's not healing. That's escape. And yeah, Jason isn't innocent either. He ignored the warning signs until it was too late. But does that justify betrayal like this? That's where things fall apart. Just imagine being those kids, trying to understand why your whole world suddenly broke overnight. So I've gotta ask you, if you were in this situation, would you fight for the family, or walk away for something that just feels good right now? If you found this case as shocking as I did, make sure to hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns.